Howdly doodly do. Welcome everyone to the fashionably late review of Road 96. We are always fashionably late, but we still have some words about games. I am your host for this episode, David Mark Moody, the glorious one, sometimes the shouty one, and joining me as always is my fabulous co-host, the glorious Amy Kate Alexander. How are you doing?
Indie games. Ow. Hey, man.
Indie games indeed. We are talking about indie games again, Amy. Some might say indie games are the future of the video game industry.
Some might say that, but you know what the clever people, the clever clocks are saying about indie games. Indie games are the present of the games industry.
That is true. I think that's fact. I think that's fact. And one indie game that we're talking about is Road 96. Available on PC and Nintendo Switch. It came out August 16th, 2021, and developed by DGX Art and published by them and Merge Games as well. The genre is adventure puzzle, and description is summer 1996. I would be 10, depending. Today is the day.
There's a lot of like period pieces in games at the minute, isn't there? Set in like the
Yeah,
80s and 90s. Love
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. Because they're all probably kids from the 80s and 90s, so probably. The summer is 1996. Today is the day you hit the road. Adventure, freedom, escape, run, flee the regime. Flee the regime. Try to survive on this risky road trip to the border. You'll meet incredible characters, discover their intertwined stories and secrets in an ever-evolving adventure. But every mile opens up a choice to make. Your decision will change your adventure, change the people you meet, and maybe even change the world. Amy, Road 96, we've played it.
Oh, we did.
What did you think of Road 96?
I've been so focused on like Lake because I've been playing that for like the last week that like I completely forgot we had another awesome narrative game to talk about this week. Road 96, man. It was awesome. Like it cleared like we did our most anticipated games of 2021 in January, and Road 96 was on mine, and it cleared my expectations. I was like, oh, I loved it. It was awesome.
Road 96 is a brilliant little game. I really, really enjoyed it. The characters are really, really well thought out and really well done. I really enjoyed the intertwined stories that they expressed through each character that you interacted with. I love that you could decide whatever person you wanted to be, basically, which I thought was very, very good, and just opens up a variety of things for a lot of people, not sticking to one niche thing,
Yeah.
which I think what was the past is now no longer becoming the present. We'll eventually go grasping out of that, which is always a good thing. Each character is very different and unique, and I really, really enjoyed the certain situations I got in.
Oh, we're
And there
gonna
was
get
one
to some
situation
situations.
that was just like, I'm going for a nap. Wait, why the hell have I woke up in this room right now
Oh
with this
yeah.
certain person? Why?
We'll talk about that character. Oh yeah, we will. Fucking hell.
But yes, we both very much enjoyed this game, which is fantastic to hear
Yes.
about. Because we don't want to shit on games, we don't want to do that. So let's get into it. Road 96. Amy, where do you want to start for
I want to
this? The
start with
characters, I
how.
think, is a good thing.
Yeah, but I want to start with something like the characters is gonna be the main thing again. Because it's that kind of game. But I want to start with how cleverly put together the story is, because it was the one thing I wasn't sure like how it was going to work going into the game, right? Like I'd seen trailers and previews and stuff about Road 96, and it's like it's a road trip where you're trying to make it to the border, well, to cross the border, like lots of teenagers in the fictionalized country, which I can't remember the name of, but it's definitely not just meant to be America. Definitely not. But like they're all trying to get to the border. Like all these teenagers that you're playing as are trying to get to the border wall to try and cross the border because it fucking it's a nightmare living there. It's a totalitarian dictatorship, which you learn more about as you play the game. And then you think it's bad when you start, and then by the time you've learned a bunch of stuff, it's like, oh, it's even worse. But and then like when you get to the border or fail to get to the border, then you start a new road trip as a new character. So I was like, is it a roguelike? Is it like what's the crack? What's going on? But it's just different journeys. So like every time you start a new road trip, you start like from a different like you've got the map with all the roads on it, and you just starting from different places. And it's so cleverly done. Like the story is told through the characters that you meet. So there's like a bunch of like main characters, like Big John, like Stan and Mitch, like Sonia, like Jared, all of the characters. And every time you do a story vignette, and then you steal a car or you hitchhike or you get on a bus or you never call a taxi. Just gonna throw that out there right now. You call a taxi, don't ever do that. But like whatever you do next, you'll get the next story, another story vignette for a different character, and you don't see all of the stories in one travel. What happens is it builds itself up. So like in the first road trip, you might meet Zoe, and then you might meet John, and then you might meet Jared, and then you might meet Sonia, and then that's that road trip. So you progress their stories a little bit. And then the next time you start another road trip, you start as another character, and you might meet some different characters, you might meet some of the same characters, and then you'll get even more of their story. It's so clever, the way it's put together. And I just really wanted to shout that out, but I think it's also really important to like lay that foundation of how it works before we talk about like the characters and the stories. Because I was very impressed, especially knowing that like the order that I saw the characters' stories in will be different to the order that Moody saw them in, which could color the entire, like it could change your perception a little, like change your perception a little bit of like the story if you learn different things in different orders, which again is really clever because like me and Moody have probably both had. We probably saw the same story played out in a different way. And we both went, that was awesome. So, like, that's pretty cool writing and pretty cool game design, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt about it. Yeah, definitely. That's the uniqueness about this game, that what you just said is spot on, that you can end up where you're meant to end up, but you've took it on the most strangest, going backwards, up, sides, left, right, up, down, whole shenanigans to get to the final destination of the end of the Road 96. And it's really, really well done. And I really enjoyed that. Each character is different and unique in their own different way. Some are annoying, some are a pain in the ass, some are just really endearing and really canny people that you just really kind of want to help. Depending on your situation of how you want to play this game, because it asks you a couple of questions at the beginning, which I think obviously helps you for what you're going to do in the game.
Yeah, there's like there's a lot of small choices you can make, which can determine like how certain vignettes will go, or determine your character's fate in some respects. But like, there's only really like 3 or 4 major sort of decisions in the game that affect the ending, like the true ending of the game when you get to election day, because that's what's happening. Like the first character you start off in is be like the beginning of June, and then the next character will be like it's now middle June, and then it's all like leading to election day.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and it's very unique what like your decisions that you'll choose throughout for all of it. And I really enjoyed that. Like, there's like a lot of funness to this game, and like you can walk it if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend that. You can hitchhike it. You can get a bus. You can get a taxi. Like Gamey says, do not recommend that at all. There's many ways you can get to the end destination of Road 96, and it's really, really well done.
Absolutely, and I like the like every time. So like one of the things it does to keep itself fresh as well is like because you get to I think it's 7 road trips, I think, all in like one playthrough, and there's a bunch of different ways you can get over the wall, or like through or like across the wall. But like when you do one of those, like that's it. Like the government clocks it and closes that off, so you can't do that again. So you've got to find a bunch of different ways to get across the wall, and some of them are pretty cool. Some of them are pretty cool. One of them,
Yeah.
which I built, one of them, which is an actual like story thing, was heartbreaking. Where it's just like, oh man, I can't spoil it, but damn, that was hard. That was heartbreaking. Shit.
Yeah.
Choices had
Like,
to be
that's the
made.
thing. That's what I think what I love about it and what I loved about on our last game what we've just reviewed, Lake. Um, it's the characters. I say all the time. It's widely known. Characters drive a story. Characters are the ones that you are there for.
See what you did
You're not there to just get in a car and just drive to the end of it and just expect some big explosions or something to happen in it.
Oh, there are some.
Go and see a
There are
Michael.
some
Go and,
explosions in this game.
there is that as well, but there's reasons for that to happen. Half the time, if you want that type of experience, watch a Michael Bay movie. I'm just gonna say that all the time.
Yeah. Play COD.
or Paul W.S. Anderson movie. No reason to watch those at all. But no, yeah, like I say, that's what I like about it. Like, even the ones I didn't like, I was just like, something about, like, you're there and you're gonna do something that's gonna help me move this story, and that's what I liked
Yeah.
about it. They did it in a really good, unique way. You can help some of them if you want to. You
Can.
can not help some of them if you wanted to.
You can die.
You can die.
Prematurely.
Yes, you can die. I'm guessing we did the same thing there. I kind of have this feeling.
I died once. Like what? Like
I've
of
died
all my
once.
hitchhikers, one of my hitchhikers died.
We'll talk
one of
about
mine
it
off.
as well. Yeah.
We'll talk about
Yeah,
it off
yeah,
review because I
fine.
don't know if it's the same thing. But yeah, you can die. I got arrested once
Yeah.
as well. That was horrible.
So did I. So did
yeah.
I. Yeah.
The like when we'll talk about the characters in depth now, I think like there was one character I didn't like as well, but like at the same time I didn't like the character because I don't think with my mindset of like who I am as a person and what I believe, I wasn't supposed to like the character. Like it's like that. I don't like you, but you're still a well-written character, and your story
Yeah.
vignettes are still really good. One of them was incredible. Like, oh my god! Like it was like the character I liked the least had like probably one of the coolest like story bits. Like not story, but it wasn't anything related to the story. Just one of the best bits of the game. Well, I was like, it was so cool. And yeah, some of these characters have intertwining stories as well, which I thought was really cool. Like you find out as you're going through and you're learning more about them. Like, oh, these characters are like intertwined, which I thought was really neat.
I really thought was really neat. And this is just a slight spoiler on one little thing. It's not a story spoiler or anything like that. It's just literally a thing that you can do. You can make a video game in this game.
You can make a video game, and then
I
when you
love
go
that.
hitchhike again, when you go hitchhike in the next thing, if you make the video game, like each thing like has like a news report read by one of the characters that you meet, and they'll talk about the game that's like being sold across the country, and then like people will reference the game like in. It's just a neat little touch. It's just a neat little touch.
That's what you like about it. There's those small little touches that just really elevate the story and the characters up even more.
Yeah.
And that's like really well. The small fine details really helped it for this game.
I have a question for you, Mr.
You ask me
Horsty,
any
Mr. Horsty man. Like, okay, who was your favorite character? I know it's a tough choice. Because I think I had at least one moment with every character where I was like, "That was amazing." But like, who's your favorite character?
I'm not great at remembering names, so
No, it's fine. If you describe them, I can tell you the name.
The big muscly guy, the trucker.
Big John, the truck driver. Yeah,
Big
he was
John,
cool.
yeah.
He was cool. I like Big John. I like them all.
Big John is really, really kind of. I really like the kid. I thought the kid was really kind of in that. It was just like, yeah, like what you said, like even the ones that you're meant to not like, you're like, that's credit. That's credit to them because they've written them really, really well. And like it is just like, oh god, no, I don't want to be here. Leave me alone. Go away. Shoo type of thing. I gotta escape type of thing.
Yeah.
And that's really, really. That's a credit to the writers to this game. It's a credit to the developers of this game in general. Like I said, they've not only created a great script, but they've created the great characters in design itself. I thought the design of the characters are really well done. You could see the like there's certain like elements of the emotions that they want to portray in it. I think they really do a good job at that. Like you feel the intensity when intense parts happen. And
Jesus
it's just
Christ.
really, really
Oh
done.
my god, like yes you do. Jesus. Can we talk about like so like I've played you know me Moody. I have a lot of horror. I play a lot of horror games, right? It's a genre of game that I'm into, and like I don't think there are many video game monsters that have scared me or been as intense as Jared in Road 96. Like
That's the
I,
taxi driver, isn't it?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Just want to make sure. Yeah.
I think honestly, I would rather go up against Alien Isolation than than like
Wow.
because Jared's scenes are just so intense. And some of
Yeah.
them are incredibly intense. The one you
Yeah,
referenced
yeah, yeah.
before, where it's like, oh, you know,
Yeah.
like, and it's just like, and then you hide in the cupboard, and
Yep. 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 It's a whole thing. It
it's a
really is.
whole
Jared
thing.
is
Oh, it's so good. Yeah,
crazily awesome in that type of way. Like you are meant to be discomforted,
you were meant to
be
be
worried by
incredibly
this part.
uncomfortable. Yeah,
You're
but
meant to be uncomfortable. You're meant to be scared, worried. Like you basically, the feeling that this character will bring you is literally get the hell out of here. Get away from this person. And that's the feeling instantly. Right off the bat, when I first met him, I was like, I want to leave. I'm leaving. Like it or not, I'm leaving. And the whole thing happened,
yeah, and then
which I won't get fully
a
into.
whole thing happened because your first meeting was probably a different part of my
Yeah.
first meeting, with the character. But like, it's a credit to the writers and it's a credit to the people who designed the game. It's a credit to everybody who worked on this game. It was a phenomenal game. But that like there's empathy there. There's the potential to really empathize with Jared while also like being like fucking pants shreddingly scared of him in like every time he turns up. And I love that. Like I don't know if he's my favorite character. I don't have an answer. Like I'm a hypocrite. I asked you who your favorite character is. And then you told me, and I'm like, I don't have an answer. Like I said, like I think all of the characters have amazing moments in their storyline. Sometimes it's just fun stuff. Sometimes it's the side. Sometimes it's part of like their stories. But like every character had something where I was like, I love this.
Yeah,
Stan and Mitch. Like
crazy.
the hapless,
Crazy.
terrible fucking criminals.
Yeah.
Which is like, yeah, I think the only character I didn't really get along with too much was Fanny, the cop. Our story was good, like, and when you get to the end, but it's like when you get to the end, it's like retroactively like, okay, cool, like I get it, and I empathize with what you're going through and stuff, but like, I've seen what the other cops are doing to kids, the kids of this country, and it's like I have great trouble empathizing with that character because of that. Not as much as the reporter, like you say, Sonia.
She was just annoying to me.
I
but
didn't
she was
empathize
annoying,
with her
but
at
she
all,
was,
but she was entertaining.
yeah, no, she just entertainingly annoying to me. I was just like, oh, you're a real pain in the backside. Like for me, she was the first character I met, and I was just like, oh god, no. She was the first one I met. Yeah,
wow,
yeah,
that's
like,
interesting. Zoe was the first character I met.
No. I think she was the second one for me.
We played trumpet.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah, imagine we got the same story, like beats, just maybe in a different order,
different directions.
Yeah, like the thing
you mentioned again goes back to the great code, and they've done a great code on this.
Like the thing you mentioned with Jared, with the waking up in a different room, that was like one of the last things that happened to me in the game.
I was like the second character.
Yeah, it's that.
My second character.
That was like, that was at the end. So I'd already done everything else,
other things
with this character, and then that was like the last thing that happened.
That was my first experience with him. I was like, what?
My first experience was I called a taxi. That was my first experience of him. And there was this weird banging noise. It's such a good game. Like I feel like we could and maybe should do a spoiler podcast about Road 96 and just go to town on it. And I think, considering I haven't had the compulsion to do that with any story game, both Moody and I have played all year, but like I just want to like I just want to let go and just let loose about like all the cool shit that was in this game. But we should probably move on from that. Like the characters are fantastic. It's what you do. For the most part, you are interacting with the characters and making choices. Like it doesn't have a great replay value because, like I said, you see the same things in a different, like it's shuffled up in a different order.
Yeah, yeah,
It still
yeah.
makes a good story. But like I've talked to people who have played it twice, and it's been like, well, there wasn't really much difference. Like
Mhm.
like you still see the same things, but in a different order, which does change the tone of the story a little bit. But like for me, the 8 hours that I played the game, like the first run, was just so strong and so good that I'm fine with it not being as replayable as it might have. You might have thought, like
Yeah, yeah.
it was so memorable and so good that I'm just like I'm cool with that one story being my Road 96 story.
I agree. Yeah, it's the perfect little thing of where you just like, I've had a great meal and I'm now satisfied without contention. There's no doubt about like there's may not have the replayability that a lot of people that I think say they want in games these days, but that doesn't bother me. Like there's many story-based games that I know what happens, and I've replayed them on multiple occasions, and I think there's no doubt about it. I think there's a chance, there'll always be a chance down the line that I will replay Road 96 just because that's how great the story is, ladies and
Yeah,
gentlemen.
and like get to see it and
That is how great it
experience
is.
it in a different way, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because it's like a Telltale game, like an old Telltale game, where it's just like the choices you make aren't massively, like for the most part, drastically impacting the story, but they impact how you feel and interact with the story.
Yeah,
And I think that's
spot
more
on.
important than having like wildly different endings. Like for me personally, that's how I feel about choice based narrative games.
No, I think you're spot on there. I really do, and that's how great it is. Is there any negatives to this game apart from obviously you've said replayability maybe lackluster on that part, but is there anything else that hasn't worked for you?
Not especially. No, not really. Like nothing springs to mind. Like the road looks the same, like as you're going up it, but then I'm like it's supposed to,
Yeah,
so like
yeah.
I get why it
It's a
does.
barren place, so yeah, it's all going to look the same and everything. Yeah, I don't think I have any real negative doubts towards, like I say, what the replayability is like the only thing downside for it. But what I read, there's a couple of cool mechanics that I thought were really really canny. Just like, and it's simple. These are simple mechanics that can literally change the game for you, or at least change that person's character's uh, life expectancy. I think it's fair to say, is if you eat or rest. It's simple. It's effective. If you eat, you regenerate, you recharge yourself, and
Yeah,
you'll be able to do certain things. If you are very hungry and you haven't rested very well, you things that are at the end of the game or end of that person's character's level could really mess up because you haven't looked after yourself, you haven't rested, and you haven't fed yourself very
yeah,
properly. And I think that's just it's the smallest little mechanic. Like if a lot of games have an eat and sleep rest
and a
mechanic
lot of
type of
games
thing,
fuck
but
it up as well.
yeah, there's no doubt about that. But yeah, I just like how they've used it for this one. Like, there's proper consequences that you are hungry, you are weak, you are sleepy, you are tired. If you haven't rested, you're tired. You're not going to possibly be able to do a certain thing that you need to do at the end, and that's really, really well done. I just like that little nuance towards it.
Yeah, it's like it's simplified as well. Like it's not punishing in any way. It's just like you got to make sure that you're either eating or resting because it all goes into the energy bar. And like traveling, it's like the thing if you're watching on YouTube, it's the thing in the top left. You'll see it's the energy bar. Like and then like different modes of travel will allow you to rest or allow you to eat or but like will also like take that bar down. So like walking, for example, will take that bar down a lot more than say stealing a car and driving away or hitchhiking. If you choose to travel on the bus, you'll get to rest and recharge some of that meter, but that also means that you're not gonna meet another character. Like so that like chunk of the road trip is like I don't want to say wasted because obviously you're using it for a reason, but if you can manage your health, your energy bar better, to not have to use the bus, that's good because it means you're gonna see more of the characters' stories. But yeah, it's a really simplified mechanic. It works really well. Another thing that works really well is like the mini games. I'm gonna call them, where it's like there are certain moments where you're interacting with characters and stuff. It's like, for the most part, it's a first person walk around, interact with things, and choose dialogue options game.
Yeah.
But every now and again, it surprises you with a game of football or a rhythm game or the or the Stan and Mitch thing where it's like who wants to be a millionaire. Like there's tons of like cool, and these are non-repeating. So like you'll do like a mini game like section which is related to like what's going on with like whatever character that you're talking to, and it's just cool. It's just a cool little thing that happens. It really adds to the game, and then it's done, and that's it. You don't have to do that mechanic anymore. Like it's specifically for that one moment, and it really heightens some certain moments of the game, I think.
Yeah, I agree. It's just like the little touches, and the developers have really done a cracking job on with using that, and well done to them. Well done to that.
Yeah.
Final thoughts, Amy.
Trying to think of anything. The sound. I want to just before I do my final thoughts as well. Again, I know we say this a lot, but the soundtrack is really, really good. Like I really enjoyed it. Like as part of the game, it's just like parts of it are still stuck in my head, and I finished this game a while ago. Like it was a good couple of weeks now, and I'm just like I still hear parts of it. And there's like a road trip sort of soundtrack, like it's excellent. And then there's the one like intense piece of music that like Jared gets, which is just like it is super intense. So like hats off to people who made the music for the game. My final thoughts: Road 96 is a fantastic game, extraordinarily political.
Oh hell yeah, hell to the yeah.
We didn't even get
wrong with that. No,
absolutely not. We didn't even get. I was just thinking then when I was saying it, it's like we didn't get to the part where it's like certain dialogue options or things that you can choose will affect one of. It's just one of a couple of different things in it where it's just like there's like the revolution or like trying to like change via voting or like just trying to get the fuck out of the country because it's a hopeless situation. And there's certain like options and choices that can affect things and affect the ending based on that. So now I'm going to give you my final thoughts. Road 96 is a fantastic game. There's a lot going on in it. There's a lot of cool characters. It's one of the cleverest games I've played in terms of the way it's designed to be played and the way it's designed to be experienced in terms of how the stories unfold and interconnect. And the fact that, as we've both demonstrated while we've been talking about it, Moody and I saw the same things and experienced the same story in a vastly different way. And we both came away incredibly impressed and loving the game. And I think that's a massive credit to the people who designed it, the people who wrote it. And it's excellent, and you should play it. Immediately.
Yes, it's a game definitely well worth your time, ladies and gentlemen. Go and give it a go. Well, that is it for this review of Road 96. Let us know what you think of it, everyone. Did you like it? Is it in the middle for you, or is it just something that just didn't work for you personally? Leave a comment down below, as it is time for us to get the hell out of here and play some more games for me and Amy to eventually review. Because we are the Fashionably Late Reviews, and we are out of here. Say bye, Amy.
Indie games.